What do you call a computer that sings? Adele. So hi everyone. I thought today I would do a video that's kind of about books in series I've read that I wasn't the biggest fan of, or for whatever reason I don't want to finish the series. And by the way, by me saying I'm not going to finish these series, it's not an invitation for you to post spoilers in the comments. I'm totally okay if you tell me how the series ends, since I won't be reading it, but please message me if you want to do that. If it's a burning desire, I want to keep the comments spoiler free, if that's possible. More than half of them on this list I've already gotten rid of, so I will list all of those off first, because I don't have fancy editing software where I can put in thumbnails anywhere, so might as well get it out of the way. So this first series is Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. I must have read this in like 2012 or 2013. Read the first one, didn't think it was anything special, don't think the rest of the series will be anything special, so I just got rid of it. The second series is The Collector by Victoria Scott. This book was just horrid. I hated the writing style, I hated it. So for those reasons, I'm not gonna pick up the rest of the series. The next series is Fallen by Lauren Tate. I read this at the library, so I never owned a copy of it, but I thought it was a little bit juvenile. Like, I think I would have enjoyed it if I read it when I was 14 or 15, but there wasn't anything new. It was just kind of fluffy, your normal YA, boy meets girl, paranormal. I mean, I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't great, but it was very basic, and I just don't think I'll find anything special out of it in the end, so I don't think it's worth reading all 4 books. The next series is actually a companion series, but I think it counts. It is Perfect Chemistry by Simone Alcalez. There's 3 books, and they all deal with kind of the same forbidden love, gangs type deal, I believe. I was not a fan of the first one. I don't really like that whole guy gets with girl, the whole gang thing. I just didn't really find it fun to read about, so I wasn't gonna continue it. The next series is Monument 14 by Amy Laybourne. I thought that book was really entertaining, but that's all it was for me. I mean, I didn't think the series had any direction. I wasn't excited to find out what happened next. I forgot a lot of what happened, so I just got rid of it. The next series is Of Poseidon by Anna Banks, I believe. It's that mermaid book with the pretty cover. I read this a while ago, and I remember liking it, but I have a thing with mermaid books where it completely screws with my brain, because I cannot for the life of me imagine them breathing underwater. I just can't do mermaid books, but other than that, I just wasn't really feeling it. I know there's 3 books now, but I just don't really care, quite frankly. The next book is Unwind by Neil Shusterman. This book had a lot of hype for me, and I was so excited to read it, and I thought it was pretty good. It had a good moral, but I don't know how a series would go. It's not the most interesting. I don't love the characters. They're a little bit younger, so I think if I would have been younger I would have liked the series more, but I just could care less. And it was originally a trilogy, but it's been extended or something like that, and I just do not have the energy, money, or time to read like a 5-book series about characters that I thought were kind of meh. And the last book that I do not own is Hush Hush. I read this in like 2012. This was like one of the first books I owned that was YA, and I just didn't really like it. I thought it was a weird plot, again like Fallen. It's kind of cliche, kind of angsty, boy meets girl, paranormal, and again, 4-book series, wasn't really feeling it, and that's basically all. Now moving on to the books that I still own on my shelf. I want to keep copies of the first books in the series, but I don't plan on buying the rest of them, so they stay on my standalone shelf. This first book is The Archived by Victoria Schwab. Jessie is currently crying. I gave this book 3 stars, I think. I liked the premise of it, which is why I'm keeping it. I also love the cover. Very soft, very nice. I like it. I thought Mackenzie was kind of a boring main character, but I did like the main guy role. And again, the premise is just really, really neat. So I wanted to keep this in case I lend it to a friend or if I ever want to revisit it. This next book is one that everyone seemed to love, and I also enjoyed it, but not quite enough to push me to want to continue the series, and that is Rebel Belle by Rachel Hawkins. I thought the story was cool. I loved it as a paranormal-ish type read, but all in all, Don't really remember what happens. It was light and fluffy at the time and I liked it, but it's just not interesting enough to continue. This next book is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. Gabaldon? I read this like sophomore year. My history teacher gave this to me, her copy to borrow, and then I went out and bought my own because I felt so proud for reading this, and it was a pretty cool book, so I kept it. But this series is huge. All the books are bigger than this. I liked it. I don't know if I have the time to commit to read them. If I could get my hands on these books, I would probably continue it eventually. But... And if you're wondering, no, I don't watch the TV show. This next series is one that I swear I've mentioned like 70 times on this channel because I want to know whether or not to continue it. The verdict for me is still no. I might get the second one at the library, but at this point I'm just not interested. It is Graceling by Kristen Cashore. I love this book. This is an awesome fantasy, and if you liked Throne of Glass, you will love this, but it's a companion series. And the second and third books follow characters I do not care about, and I think I may try them eventually one day from the library just to see, but right now I'm like, ugh. These last two are kind of the big ones, so I saved them. This one is The Maze Runner by James Dashner. I specifically went and bought the movie cover because I wanted Dylan O'Brien on it, and I knew I wouldn't be getting the other books in the series, so I didn't care about them matching. I thought this book was average. It was like, ooh, dystopian. But I loved the movie. So I have no idea if the movies are going to make me want to read the rest of the books. If you would have talked to me about this before I saw the movie, I would have told you hands down I would not be continuing the series, but now I'm kind of interested. This video is kind of turning into, well, I might finish that, but for time being. And this last one is a very popular series that I know for sure I'm never going to pick the third book up of, and that is The Darkest Minds. Alright, ladies and gents, I liked the first book. It wasn't special, it was kind of boring. Read the second book, was not feeling it. Was so bored, didn't care about the plot, didn't care about the characters, didn't care about a resolution or a cure or whatever they're looking for. So I'm probably, for sure, never going to pick up the third book. I think eventually I may even get rid of this and the sequel. I'm just, at this point, I'm like, but it's so pretty, so I'm keeping it. But one day, expect to see this again in an on-haul. So that is all that I have for you today. I know the majority of the comments of this video are either going to be, no, finish that, or no, it gets better, but probably nothing you could say would convince me otherwise to read these series. With that being said, thank you all for watching. I will see you next time. Bye!